I will tell you about the stage we are at with the current American administration, which, as everyone knows, is making, in my opinion, quite energetic and sincere efforts to stop the hostilities, stop the crisis and reach agreements that are of interest to all parties involved in this conflict, in order to create long-term conditions for peace both between our countries and in Europe, and in the world as a whole. In order to inform you about how the negotiation process on the Ukrainian crisis is going, how the bilateral negotiations with the Ukrainian delegation are going. One way or another, many of those present know, of course, in general terms. I will tell you in more detail. That is the first thing. And secondly, I will tell you about the stage we are at with the current American administration, which, as everyone knows, is making, in my opinion, quite energetic and sincere efforts to stop the hostilities, stop the crisis and reach agreements that are of interest to all parties involved in this conflict, in order to create long-term conditions for peace both between our countries and in Europe, and in the world as a whole, if at the next stage we reach agreements in the area of control over strategic offensive weapons. That is what I wanted to say at the beginning. The preparation of the meeting between the presidents of Russian and USA entered its final stage. Given that the summit has been announced only 5 days ago, overnight from last Friday to Saturday, everything is being done in intensive regime. Lots of technical issues are being solved, including visa formalities. Of course, the primary attention is being paid to the preparation of the critical component of the summit. I can say that the program of the Russian and U.S. leaders has been agreed upon. The meeting, as you all well know, will take place in Alaska, in Anchorage, and specifically on one of the premises of Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson Air Force Base. It is foreseen that everything will start tomorrow, August 15th, approximately at 11:30 local time, 19:30 GMT, with a conversation between the Russian President, Vladimir Vladimirovich, and U.S. President, Donald Trump. The conversations will be in one-to-one format, naturally with the participation of the interpreters. After that, the talks between two delegations will take place. These talks will continue over the working lunch. The list of the participants has already been confirmed. Given the fact that very important and sensitive matters will be discussed, the circle of the participants is not a broad one. I will name the members of the Russian delegation. They are Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Presidential Foreign Policy Aide Yuri Ushakov, Defense Minister Andrei Belousov, Finance Minister Anton Siluanov, and President's Special Envoy in charge of investment and economic cooperation with the foreign countries Kirill Dmitriev. After the talks, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump will give joint news conference to summarize the results of the negotiations. Speaking about the summit's agenda, it is probably obvious to everyone that the main focus will be the settlement of the Ukrainian crisis, including taking into consideration the issues discussed in Kremlin, as you remember, on August 6 with participation U.S. President's Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. And naturally, the broader tasks of ensuring of peace and security will be discussed, as well as urgent international and regional issues. An exchange of views is expected on further developing bilateral cooperation, including in the trade and economic sphere. I would like to note that this cooperation has huge and unfortunately hitherto untapped potential. It is planned that at the beginning of their meeting, the presidents, each of them, will say a few words. This is a common practice of the international negotiations. The talks will be businesslike, and naturally we all are in the business mood.